Hey everybody, Mr. Hawkins here with your daily briefing. I've got a few things I want to go over with you today. We'll take a look at your homework assignments from yesterday, and I have a special activity, so make sure you watch this video to the end for instructions. But first, I want to apologize to a few of you who may have seen the wrong presentation materials. I accidentally uploaded my lecture notes, so if you didn't see the slideshow, go back and take a look at that information.
Let's take a look at the answers in today's assignment. So according to the directions, we open up skyvector.com and then select the Memphis sectional chart.
At this point, it's a good idea to open up the Layers menu and to unselect METARs, temporary flight restrictions, and SIGMETs. Question 1 says, looking southwest of Memphis at the Tunica Airport, it appears as an outlined rectangular runway, while right next to it, Sharp is presented as a circle. Why are some airports presented as outlined runways and some as circles?
Using the Aeronautical Chart User's Guide from the FAA, we can see that a solid outlined airport is a hard surface runway greater than 8,069 feet, and an airport inside of a circle represents a hard surface runway from 1,500 to 8,069 feet.
Question 2. What airspace is at the surface of the Tunica Airport? Because Tunica is inside the magenta shaded circle, the sectional legend indicates that Class Golf airspace continues from the surface up to 700 feet AGL, where it becomes Class Echo airspace. Question 3. Directly overhead Tunica is a portion of Memphis International's Class Bravo airspace. What is the base and top of the Class Bravo airspace above Tunica? Just north of Tunica is a set of blue numbers with 100 over 50. The base of the Class Bravo airspace is at 5,000 feet MSL, and the top is at 10,000 feet MSL.
Question 4. Due north of Memphis is General DeWitt Spain Airport, which is shown as a circle. Just northeast of M01 is Baker Airport, which is shown as a circle with tick marks. Why do some airports have tick marks? The legend indicates that tick marks represent services are available and the field is tended during normal working hours. Between Little Rock and Pine Bluff Regional is a dashed magenta half circle. What does it represent? According to the legend, the thick dashed magenta line represents a national security area. Though not evident from the chart, further research indicates the NSA is over Pine Bluff Arsenal, a U.S. military weapons area. Question 6. Little Rock Air Force Base is on the north edge of the Little Rock Class Charlie airspace, and due north of Little Rock Air Force Base is a private airport named Shirley, which is next to another private airport named Cypress Creek. Why are those two private airports displayed as different symbols? The two private airports have different symbols because they have different runway types. According to the legend, the solid circle with a runway inside indicates a hard surface runway longer than 1,500 feet, while the open circle represents an other than hard surfaced runway. Question 7. Federer Memorial Airport is located halfway between Memphis and Little Rock. What is the black line with the crosshatch markings extending roughly southwest from the airport? The line represents a single-track railroad. While not depicted in the sectional legend, it can be found in the FAA Aeronautical Chart User's Guide. Question 8. Due south of Federer Memorial Airport is an area along the White River outlined in a solid blue line with blue dots. What does this indicate? What flight restrictions are associated with this area? This is the boundary of the White River National Wildlife Refuge. It's a special conservation area. This information, depicted in the FAA Aeronautical Chart User's Guide and in the margin of the FAA VFR sectional chart, indicates pilots are requested to maintain an altitude of 2,000 feet above the surface in these areas. In the second student activity today, you're to identify potential navigation, landmark, or airspace issues you might encounter during a real-world flight scenario. I've chosen 3 airports: the Memphis Airport, Greenville, and Little Rock, returning to Memphis.
Now zooming in to take a closer look at the landmarks and airspace that will define the chosen route, we see that as we fly south out of Memphis Class Bravo airspace, we will encounter a lake that makes a great checkpoint down on the ground. Continuing southbound, notice the military operations area off toward the east. You can see we'll pass near some airports. Those also make great checkpoints. As we arrive into the Greenville Class Delta Airport, we'll turn towards the northwest, where we'll fly along the river and major road and railroad. Be aware of the national security area along your route of flight. Flying into the Class Charlie airspace in Little Rock, we can see there are some restricted areas and Class Delta airspace just to the north. Now going back towards Memphis, we'll pass by some airports and along a major highway. This makes us more alert for other aircraft that may be following the same path. That takes us back into the Class Bravo airspace of Memphis and finishes the flight. Your responses to the questions on assignment 2 will vary depending on the route you chose, but be aware that special use airspace or controlled airspace may affect your flight path. Also, identify significant landmarks that are useful for navigating the route, and be aware of landmarks that are helpful for your flight and places that you might want to avoid. So let's challenge your expertise. I want you on the next slides to identify the meaning of the symbol, discuss how the feature would impact a pilot's flight planning, and answer the questions on the slide. Taking a look at chart challenge number 1, identify this symbol. What impact could it have on flight planning? And what does the boxed 1562 mean here? If you said it was a windmill farm, you're correct. The 1562, well, that's the height in MSL of the tallest wind turbine in that area. Chart challenge number 2, what does the symbol 42 mean here? And what does the magenta circle C mean? 42 is the length of the longest runway in hundreds of feet, 4,200 feet, which could have an impact if the runway is too short to use for takeoff or landing, depending on your ability or the density altitude. The circle C is the CTAF frequency, 123.0 at that airport. Chart challenge number 3. Identify these symbols, their impact on flight planning, and where would you find the frequencies for this area? Those symbols are special use airspace borders for restricted areas or military operations areas here. Those could have some very severe impacts on the outcome of your flight. Where would you find their frequencies? Well, check on the inside flap of the sectional chart. Chart challenge number 4. Identify these symbols, their impact, and what are the weather minimums in this airspace, assuming the altitude is less than 10,000 feet MSL? The answer, it's Class Echo to the surface. How could this impact your flight planning? Think about it. While the visibility is 3 statute miles, 1,000 feet above, 500 feet below, and 2,000 feet horizontally below 10,000 feet. Chart challenge number 5. Identify this symbol, its impact, and why might the FAA include this type of symbol? From the chart supplement guide, you would know this is a railway, and the A, B, and D means it's abandoned. The FAA may want to draw attention to this fact because it could be an unreliable landmark. The railway could be gone, overgrown, and make it difficult to see for navigation. Chart challenge number 6. What is this symbol? The line of dots. Sectionals sometimes use lines or dots to connect labels with their symbols when they're separated. In this case, the data block for the Memphis VORTAC couldn't be closer to the symbol due to the clutter, so the label's farther away connected to the symbol by the line. That'll finish our chart challenge for today, but I did post a little bit more information about aeronautical charts on Blackboard, so make sure you look at that information. Also, your activity today is a Kahoot on Advanced Aeronautical Charts. You'll need to finish this before noon on Friday. Head over to kahoot.it and use the pin code showed. Thanks everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, contact me on Remind if you have any questions.